blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. That's my not voice, but my I am presenting a thing tone. It's not a voice, it's a tone, an intonation that everybody uses. Have you ever noticed how when people are doing a thing, they do a thing in a certain way, the same way everyone else is supposed to do it? Oh, well, I'm presenting a thing, so I should talk like this. Blah 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 blah. I'm not going to talk like a human. I'm going to talk like how I'm expected to talk, given the thing I'm doing and what's expected from that format. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. And then you get into the very serious moment, and you have to go from blah 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 into blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. And that's them cutting to check out our sponsor. Don't forget to sign up for Shitspace. Queer Square. Sign up now to Cockscape. Shave your dick. Get it out of my mouth and into the bathroom. Shave your balls. Blah 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 blah. That's not related to anything. Hello and everything, by the way, I guess. It's just I was watching a video on the YouTube and the person was doing that, and I just get fucking like, just talk like you normally talk. What's the matter with you? Jesus, you imagine, turn on my podcast, my really popular, prominent, really well-known podcast, and there's me going, hi, today I'm drawing a picture. What are we using? We're using pens, of course, because pencils are for little bitches. Bitches who want to erase their mistakes. Do you make mistakes? I don't. Well, I try not to anyway, but if I do, I'll never tell. I pretend that that's what's meant to happen. You're fucking sickening. Talk like a human being! Fuck you! Fucking... Oh, right there, it's proof where your presenter voice. Really? Oh, that's fascinating. You should have a television show where you talk like a fucking robot, and then you should get set on fire while you're at home with your loved ones. Oh! That was a bit mean. It's almost like it's the old Ewan coming back. Like from back in the day where I used to say mean things all the time. Arguably when I was better. Some people would... No one's really said that. People don't really say much of anything. I'm not... whatever. Well, speaking of the old me, the old Ewan... Back in the day, Ewan, About Ewan when he was edgy young Ewan. Oh, remember that? Remember when Ewan was young and edgy? No, me either. Ha ha ha. That's a tenuous segue into. Did you know? Coming up, depending on when I'm recording this, when I upload it, when you're watching it, 1st of June, 6 years ago, is when I uploaded my first podcast episode. It's been 6 years! There's a good chance that me saying things like my podcast isn't popular enough to blah blah blah, or hey, jokingly saying my world-renowned, super well-known, super famous podcast might have something to do with the fact that it's been 6 years and growth hasn't necessarily been as large as I'd like. I mean, we all want to become super big and famous, but you just, I'm content to keep doing the thing because I enjoy just doing it. It's almost a form of journaling in a way of airing out grievances about the way people talk when they're making shit. They don't talk like people. They talk like fucking aliens who have adopted human speech patterns as they see them. Go, oh, this is how humans talk. Hello, I am a human man. Today I am drawing a picture on a piece of what you call paper using pen. Hi, I'm Squizzle Dizzle and I'm Bizzle Whizzle all over my nizzle. I don't know why I was talking like fucking Snoop Dogg. I don't even like that way of talking. Hi, I'm Skoojad Boobab, and I am a boring human with no personality of my own. So I adopt this form of speaking to give the impression that I'm interesting and knowledgeable. And so it's been 6 years. That's the thing, right? So that you might have noticed right off the bat that we're at a different camera angle to how, we normally are. We're normally looking straight down on the thing, but today we're not. What's going on? I'm cracking my knuckles as I'm talking. It's probably unprofessional, but then I'm not a professional. But then maybe that's why I haven't necessarily seen the growth I might have liked. Different angle. Yeah, that thing. That's because what I did was, since it's the 6-year anniversary of when I posted my first podcast onto YouTube, I went back and watched my first podcast episode that I posted onto YouTube 6 years ago. 6 years ago! And it was filmed like this because I didn't have... I had this shitty plastic microphone, and at a couple of points in the episode you can hear me like breathe into it and bump it. It wasn't actually necessarily a shitty plastic microphone, it was just a cheap microphone that I had. And my phone, my old phone back then, I think, that I was using to record was... I had a pot of pens and my phone was like sat amongst the pens, leaning forward at this position on my desk, looking down onto my drawing space on my desk. And I just thought it might be a little bit fun to just sort of recreate that at least somewhat. And I'm drawing not necessarily an updated version of the picture I was drawing during that podcast episode, but the same sort of drawing I was drawing back then, which was a commission of a Viking. And so I'm just doing the same thing I did back then, but now, so I don't have to think of anything to do now, because I can just do whatever it was I was doing back then, and that makes it easier for me. It was a video of me reacting to me. Look, here's me reacting to my old clips. Here's a clip show of me reacting to my old videos. Here's a video of me reacting to me, watching me while all over me, and me. I like memes. Do you like memes? I like sharing memes with girls. That's how you get girls to be interested in you. You find out what they like and you send them memes about that particular subject matter. That's just how I'm going to pronounce it from now on. I don't care how it's actually pronounced. I like calling them memes. It was interesting to watch the old episode, though. I will forever and ever shit on tired tropes of content creation and how people, almost as a crutch, use things like reacting to my old videos, etc., etc. But I'll do it myself because, you know, I'm a little bitch with no integrity, and you can suck my farts. Well, I'm not really doing that now. I'm talking about my old content because it's been 6 years. It was interesting to watch my old first ever podcast because, in essence, you could almost not necessarily tell it was old because I'm sort of doing and talking about the same sort of shit that I was back then, that I am now. I was back then. I was talking about the same sort of shit that I talk about now, which in a way it's kind of comforting because it's like, even in that first episode, I still have, you know, the same sort of neuroses and anxieties that I have now. I'm still sort of self-conscious about the same things I'm self-conscious about now. I'm evidently still the same me that I was back then, which is, there is something comforting about that. And good one, really eloquently put, Ewan. But that's just the first episode. I am aware, and I have stated even in recent videos, how I have changed as a person in a lot of ways since those times, in terms of my opinions on certain things I will and won't talk about, will and won't say, the ways I interact with certain topics, certain things are different. So I have grown and changed in various ways, but in essence, I'm still the same me, which again might be one of the reasons I haven't really seen the growth other people might have seen in that amount of time. But you know, because it means I stick to my guns. I haven't, you know, changed in such a way that I'm like, I started talking like this and having ad reads and sponsors and hey, you won't believe the I haven't sold out. I haven't changed into something I'm not to appease anyone. I've stuck to who I am and what I know. So I feel like I can be proud about that. There is something to that. It's, you know, it's not nothing. There's something there. Other things of note, nothing. That's it. There's nothing else to note. I had a full-time job. I talk about it in the episode. Maybe I'll put a link to it in the description of this in case you can't search for it. Yeah, because part of the episode, I guess ahead of time, I'd gone on Instagram and told people to like ask questions through Instagram that I could answer in my first podcast episode. I think one of those questions was something along the lines of, "Do you do art full time?" To which I answered, "No, I have a job." I don't think I mentioned at the time that it was in the shoe store, the now infamous shoe store. I just mentioned the fact that it was in a stockroom warehouse environment. And, since then... Well, that's one thing. I can talk about, I haven't seen the growth and the whatever. Evidently, it's been a struggle here and there, and currently is a struggle. But I have, at least for several years, been able to make a living doing the art. So that's something. That's growth. That that's not nothing. That is something. I'd be happy about that, and I am happy about that. I don't want to diminish that kind of shit. But it's just an interesting sort of thing to know, it is in that way kind of like a journal. It's like I kept a journal and then I went back and read some of my old journal entries, and I get to sort of look back on how things were then versus how things are now, and go, oh, things are ever so slightly different. We hadn't been through COVID then. I hadn't had my vasectomy. It doesn't show up on camera, but I hadn't grown a beard at that point, I don't think. Because I think that was 2018? 2019. Oh no, I might have had a beard. June 2019. 2020. No, it was 2018. It must have been 2018. 2018 to 2019 is 1 year. 19 to 20, 20 to 21, 21 to 22, 22 23, 23 24, 24 24. No, it must be. I don't know. I could look it up, but I'm not going to because I don't care that much. I might have had a beard. I don't know. But that's almost irrelevant because whether or not I had a beard doesn't really matter. It doesn't really factor into anything. But it's just something to note, I guess. But it's 6 years! Whoa! Can you believe... I mean, there... Again, I'm going to toot my horn because that was... It started out as the Ewan Sucks podcast. That's what I called it. But now, I've grown and changed. And it's the Ewan Wins podcast now. And... To have a point in my favour, to toot my own horn a bit, because I can talk about my wins, my W's. Maybe it's entirely likely that a lot of people in my position who, want to put out a video series, a podcast series, whatever, if they're doing it for 6 years and they maybe don't see any huge financial gain from it or anything, they might give up. Even after 3 or 2 years of doing it, they might think, this is pointless. It's not becoming some big thing. People don't really seem that interested. I'll just stop because no one will really notice or care. But I carried on because it was never about that. It's not about the gain. And plus, I know I have remarkably, somehow... It does seem that I have at least some small amount of dedicated following for people who, not only people who watch the podcast, but people who almost get actively upset if there isn't a podcast, if there's no episode on any given week, or if it's late out or whatever. I hear about it from at least a couple of people, so that's something. I'd be glad to know that much. So I do it for me because I want to do it, but I do it for them. And it's not always about profits, about the gain, about getting value for your money. It's not about cutting research, cutting funding to cancer research because we're not seeing the fiscal gain that we should be. Fucking dildos talking about shit like that. Fucking, you know who I'm talking about. Because as soon as you start caring about that sort of shit, then I think it's over. You're gone. Your soul's washed away at that point, if you had one to begin with. Because what's the point if that's all you care about? Why fucking bother? Oh. I'm using it's cute. It's a cute little froggy pen. I just wanted an excuse to use this pen. No particular reason, but I thought, why not? Why not? Why bloody not? I was gonna sort of segue into the next bit by going, I think in that initial seminal episode of the podcast, the commission I was drawing, I think I said I'll probably do another draft of it. I think what it turned into eventually was this one here, which is cool. It's quite neat. I like it. It might almost, I think it's a lot better than the one I'm drawing now. I thought I'll do an updated, better version of it. But no, I think at the moment, this version's looking kind of shit compared to this. But then it's difficult to sit and draw something on camera while talking rather than this, which again, this was a second or third version that I just sat down and really took my time with, at least to some degree. And then I draw in this, and then I mention this, and then I go, what's this in? It's in a book. This is one of my favourite art books that I've produced, I think, over the years. From 2019, I believe. So probably not long after that first podcast, which is nice. This is ballpoints. This is it's quite a thin book, but this was done almost as DLC, like a little addition to my first art book, my chimp face ballpoint art book, which I called Ballpoint. And so this is Ballpoints, and I really, really like the artwork in here, and I like the size of it. It's thin, but it's a nice little. There's a lot of artwork in here, being that it is as thin as tis. Some dogs. You like dogs? I wonder how many dog portraits I've done now. Not hundreds, but quite a lot. People do like their dog portraits, and as they should. People like their dogs. Why not get a fucking draw? Why not pay me loads of money to draw your fucking dog? Some skulls. Oh, fucking skull. This one, as well as a few other drawings in this book, or at least a couple of others, was exhibited alongside, not directly alongside, but adjacent to, some actual real-life original drawings by Da Vinci. I know! Pretty fucking mad, that. There was, at the time, there was, I think, an exhibition going around the country in several places at once of like the at the time alive Queen's personal collection of Da Vinci like sketchbooks and drawings and things. I don't know why she's got them. They should be. I don't know. Anyway, so someone who works at the local gallery that had that exhibition happening knew someone I went to university with, and they said, "We've got some space in the gallery. What should we do with it?" And then the person who knew me from university said, "There's this guy Ewan, and he's really fucking good." You know? So they contacted me, and they were like, "Hey, well, the exhibition space at the same time as Da Vinci." And so I was like, "Fucking yeah, let's do that shit." So I produced a few drawings specifically for it, knowing it was going to be alongside the Da Vinci exhibition. One of those, I mean, you'll see, is a particular favourite of mine. But that was good. That was good times. It was good. It was good. Not. I almost. I'm at pains to even bring it up, but like, not much came of it. I think I sold 1 or 2 drawings and a couple of prints, and it wasn't like a wild success or anything. But it was cool to do, and I get to say, you know, my artwork was exhibited sort of alongside Da Vinci. I talk that up a bit. I tell people I was exhibited next to, at the same time, alongside, right there with Da Vinci. Because, you know, me and him are basically the same in terms of like artistic skill and whatnot. So this one was done initially on my old Instagram account for when I reached 45,000 followers. And I was like, "Hey, I'll post this as like a 45k. Thank you for 45,000. And then my account got deleted. I'm almost there again. I'm at 40, almost 43 at the moment. So it would be nice to be able to use this again. I will post this image again on Instagram if I get to that point, if my account doesn't get deleted. So this was, I drew this for that exhibition. Just the skull with a bunch of shit. It's quite a cool drawing, though, isn't it? Like, skull. And then these were just separate skull drawings. As is this. As with these. That's a still life from shit in my home. Candles and books. I tried to make it like a typical still life fucking thing. Books and candles and skulls and shit. With this guy. I forget his name. He's from Ren and Stimpy or whatever. More skulls. Cat skulls. I like those. I like the colours of the shit. I like this one. I like doing odd shaped skulls and then like shading them, and so they look not realistic, but like, you know, like they are objects. Bunch of warthogs. That was for a furry friend of mine whose fursona is a warthog. So I was drawing warthogs. Warthog heads and skulls and such. And that's more furry drawing. See, just like always. Well, you start with dogs, that's whatever. But then skulls, and then more skulls, and then animal skulls, and then animals from the one page leads into the next, yeah. Well, that guy. That was my furry friend's furry friend, their persona. Very craftily covering up its dick and balls with its big gnarly hand. And this was like me practicing furry art type faces and shit. Because there's been a few times over the years where I've thought, oh, maybe I should get into furry art. Because some furries have a lot of money, and some furries do pay a lot of money for like commissions and stuff. So that could be an avenue to go down. But I've never quite... I think it's one of those things that if you're not actively in the furry environment and culture, the artwork isn't going to be... Like, it's going to be missing something, and I think I was always aware of that. Each time I have tried to do, like, furry art, I've felt like I am missing something because I'm not in that, and I feel like my art will look like that more so to furries who look at it. Hulk, action figure, face in the speech bubble, which is something I've pointed out a few times. Certainly with Heracot, when we looked at their book, the mouth in the speech bubble. But putting pictures in speech bubbles, I've always enjoyed that. So that was a good one for that screaming Hulk with the Hulk toy and the thing. MF Hulk, Hulk Doom, the Incredible Doom villain. I really like those. Some of these are just sketchbook pages, like a lot of them are actually, but then some of them are individual drawings created separately from a sketchbook. And I like each of those differently and or equally, but for their different things. Like that's obviously a sketchbook page, but it goes into the thing, like muscles, like furry skulls, animals, furries, muscly man, the Hulk, etc. Hulk, sketchbook page, a bunch of shit. I liked those sketchbook pages, so I put them in here. I like that the Hulk's like Frankenstein at different bits, a big marker pen hand, different colour ballpoint arms and shit. There's a lot of energy in those sketchbook pages, which I feel like I'm lacking now, but I don't know, that's whatever. I am dead. A hair study. I like that. I hate drawing hair because it's a pain in the arse, but that's like if I'm doing a comic, for instance, I hate drawing hair on people. I prefer everyone to just be bold because it's easier. But every now and again, I do like to draw a nice head of hair. I like curly hair. I like drawing curly hair. It's quite fun. This is a funny one. I painted this on a wall at Kindred Tattoo Studio in London. Yeah, it got this big from drawing. See, he's got one big arm from it's from drawing. I swear, it got this big from drawing. And look, this is a guy playing with action figures of himself. He's playing with himself, and that's a masturbation joke. And this is two separate drawings from two separate bits of paper or whatever. You can kind of see the line there where they separate. I put those together because they're linked. Get it? Everything's linked. He's naked. Almost. He's wearing pants. Naked bodies. Naked bodies! Very muscly. Not very muscly here, but she's a very muscly lady. It's very, very fun to draw. I really, really like this drawing. I like the cross-hatching is very neat and tidy on that one. Well, relatively neat and tidy for me. I really like that. And that's her legs with heels on me like that. Lovely lady there. That's, maybe I won't name drop, but a model who has posed in Playboy. I drew her a couple of times, even shared some messages back and forth with her. She's very, very well known, very popular. And then she asked if I was in Miami, and I was like, no. And I think that if I were in Miami, she'd have maybe gone on then to say, would you like to draw me in person? It felt like that's where it would have gone. It wouldn't necessarily have been that I'd then be sleeping with and be in a relationship with a world famous Playboy model. I'm not saying it couldn't have happened. But she seemed to like my drawings, and then she asked if I was in Miami. I can only assume because she'd have been like, draw me in person. And I don't typically care about travelling or anything, but that's at least one time in my life where I've been like, fuck, god damn it. Why can't I be in Miami? But I was very, very much not in Miami. If I recall correctly, we were texting like that while I was on my lunch break at work when I got the text asking if I was in Miami. And I was at the table in the break room in the shoe store at work, just like, fuck's sake, really? No, I'm not in Miami. I like this and this. I like that page. I like this spread. This is a good spread. I don't often draw eyes because I get sick of people drawing eyes as a thing. Like, oh, I'll draw a cool eye with a reflection and everything. But, you know, if I'm going to draw an eye, it's going to look good. And I do like this drawing. And I like the jawbone and all. That's my hand holding Jawbone. That's a guy. Bunch of stuff. Goblin. This girl, this person, who I believe did, but no longer does identify as a girl. So this person has one of what I feel the nicest smiles I have ever seen in my life. So I tried to capture it in a couple of different ways, with and without teeth. I hope that comes across, that it is a very, very lovely smile. And I really like those drawings. So I put them in the book. A couple of lovely gals. Long-time online friends. I'm very happy to have them as such. I really like this one as well. I really like that. Possibly one of my best ever portraits I've ever done ever. I don't think that's too outrageous to say. I mean, fucking look at it. The cross-hatching, the shapes and the lighting and shit. The sort of nuances of the lips and things and the freckles and the shaven head and whatnot. I really, really fucking love that drawing. That's a rough version, and then that didn't turn into this. Like, these are two separate bits of paper. I still have both of those individually. But that was like a rough one. I did a super rough one and then traced it into this and then traced that into this. And I really, really like that. I'm really happy with it. Even like just the really like super, super pink areas like under her nose and jaw and stuff. It really... Aren't I good? Aren't I really bloody good? And these are good too, I guess. I love the nose. Shadows and shit. That's cool. There's the girl with the pearl earring, but it's my pink man guy in the thing. I think both of these were also done for the Da Vinci exhibition. This is an obvious one. Well, not an obvious one, but I mean, that's the Vitruvian Man, which is... So you might look at it and go, surely he should have a penis, Ewan. If anyone's going to draw a penis on any piece of artwork, this is a perfect one. But I drew this knowing it was going to be exhibited publicly, and I was told ahead of time to keep the drawings tasteful because it's a family area, kids running around, because it's right adjacent to a library. So, you know, I had to keep it tasteful. So I think this is about the extent I could really go to, and that's, you know, that's one of Da Vinci's famous drawings, so the penis there is fine. But then if I just drew like a big swinging dick here with drips coming out of it, it might have been a bit much. But look, it's like, see, he's got the 4 arms and 4 legs, and here he's got, it's like a monster version of the Vitruvian Man. And then there's this one. This is the one I was talking about being one of my favourites. Because look how fucking immaculate that shit is, man. The original of that is A3 in size. It took about 7 hours. Which you might think is like, he did that in only 7 hours. But for me, that's a long fucking time. It's not perfect by any means, but all done in one pen. It looks like two, because there's areas where it's kind of like smudged where my hand was on it and stuff. And it looks like I've used a pink and a purple, but it's all done with the same purple ink. Lots and lots of hatching, lots of scribbling, lots of detail. The details here, man. I think I did okay on her face. Yeah, that's, to this day, that's one of the drawings I'm most proud of. And it's a copy of a pre-existing artwork. Yeah, I was really happy with that. I still have the original if anyone wants to pay thousands and thousands of pounds for it. Oh, it's me! See, I'm doing like Van Gogh with the like bandage on my ear, my blue eyes. It's like I'm him and he me. That was before I fully grew my beard out. So I should really redo that with my beard now, and then I'd look even more like Van Gogh. See, I'm just like him. I'm a troubled, misunderstood artist too. Except I didn't cut my ear off and give it to a prostitute. It's quite emotional drawings. This is an homage to a Van Gogh piece. The guy on the chair with his head in his hands. But that's me feeling feelings, and this was truly a drawing of my feelings around that time. And I get there again now and then. And then this was just like a step up from that, surrounded by goblins biting my fingers, just like, oh god, oh god. This, I really liked this. This was a Draw This In Your Style that another illustrator did. And their version was very sort of like, I can't put my finger on the type of style they have, but it's quite a more traditional illustrative style that they have. And in their original drawing, the girl character they had drawn had a key, all these arms around them and stuff. But I think my version's better. Because I'm me. Of course I would think that, wouldn't I? That's Rob! He's my friend, Rob. He was wearing a fake nose and goggles. And I liked the photo, so I drew it. That's Ants in My Eyes Johnson from Rick and Morty. I'm Ants in My Eyes Johnson. He got so many deals, I think. I don't know. Ants in My Eyes. There's a man head inside a goblin and a goblin head inside a man. It's me. It's me, because I'm the goblin and the man at the same time. I'm one within the other, but I'm also the other within the one. Yeah. And that's me too, with Petey, my puppet man. I haven't had him around in a while. He's right by my bed. I'm looking at him right now. But I haven't utilised him. There's real life, and this is a separate thing. It's a square me, pink man guy. I thought it was cool. Other drawings. This guy and that guy. Pumpkinhead man with a hand and he's folded up. That's from The Simpsons. Knife goes in, guts come out. That's what a sucker fish concern is all about. That's from The Simpsons. That's the Simpsons thing. I like that drawing. I mean, like I said, I like a lot of the drawings in here. I think there's a lot of really good drawings in here. That's a Hellboy who, I think his head is shit. The rest of it's sort of okay, but I don't like the head. I think the proportions aren't necessarily as I would do them today. A couple of rat bros hanging out. Do love the rat bros. Always love the rat bros. This is all commissions. That Viking commission. Gun Viking commission. That one might not have been a commission. No, it was a commission. I think that was a commission. A Rick and Morty commission. That was quite a fun one. And then some demon babe with big hair and a severed head on her ass. That's quite a cool one. And these were all like, I had shitty photos of them on my phone, and then I obviously sent the drawings to the people who commissioned them without thinking to scan them in first, hence not having such high quality pictures of them as I have for other pieces in the book. And then rap lyrics: half shark, half man, skin like alligator, carrying a dead walrus. Ew, check it. Half shark, alligator, half man. Half shark, alligator, half man, carrying a dead walrus. Like in the song, you minor, we major. You're all up in the game and don't deserve to be a player. Mob Deep. You minor, we major. Obviously heavily inspired by Arrival, I believe it is the film. Not directly copied from, but, a jellyfish, some big squid. Good hatching, good shadows and such. I was happy with that. Hexagon head shape, now can you catch my angle? Unicycle verbal, I ride with no handles. A chariot of fire burning through rhyme arenas. Remus Wolfganger, task force hyenas. Lockjaw, lion tamer, sentence rearranger, left you in the force bar, feeling like a stranger. That's Task Force, my favourite musical group, rap duo ever. They're great. I like this drawing too. Hexagon head shape, unicycle verbal. That's fun. Generally speaking, each rhyme is 5-star. Split personality, I ride with a sidecar. And it's like split personality with a sidecar. And his shoes come off. Oh no. And BoJack Horseman. Oh. Happy 6-year podcast. Happy podcast for 6 years. Happy 6 years of the podcast. Ah! Hooray! 6 bloody years. I thought I had 6 candles, which would have been more appropriate for the 6. But it's 3's, it's divisible, it's all right. Oh, you got me a cake, you guys. You didn't have to do that. Oh. That's good fucking cupcake. That's a raspberry ripple cupcake. That's fucking delicious. Put that over here. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you for doing that for me. I really appreciate it. You're all too kind. We'll say I used Patreon funds for that, and so I thank you for that. I'll just get a little sip of my beverage. Oh, isn't that lovely? Isn't that just so nice that people would do something so sweet for me? How wonderful. 6 years, can you believe? I've been doing this shit for 6 bloody years. When will it stop? Who knows? Who knows? It will stop once it gets successful. I mean, you know, monetary. I consider this a successful podcast. If it was unsuccessful, I wouldn't really be still doing it, would I? If it was truly unsuccessful, the success comes in doing it. But if I do achieve any sort of like wider renown or monetary gain from it, then that's when I stop doing it. But it's successful now. I don't need to do it anymore. It's done. It's finished. The experiment has concluded. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. When I was a child, maybe around 6, 7-ish years old, for at least one summer, possibly 2, I feel like it may have happened a couple of summers. At least one summer, maybe 2 summers. I feel like it happened possibly more than one summer. At least one summer, possibly 2 summers. Might have been 2 summers. At least one. Yeah, that's funny bit. You. There was a church-based child care group set up over the summer holidays, the summer vacation, whatever we call it, a summer holidays over here. When school's out for 6 weeks over the summer, between July and September. It wasn't the Mormon church. It wasn't a Mormon church-based things. It was just like the local parish where we lived or whatever had set up this this child care. Bring your kids in, drop your kids off for a couple of hours over lunchtime, I think. So you get a bit of peace, and then we'll look after your kids for a bit. And so I went there for, I think, a few days a week for a couple of weeks. I believe. I don't know the specific. I can't remember. It was a very long time ago. You think 6 years is a long time? Try fucking 30 years ago. Jesus, it was actually that long ago. I remember a lot in my life, mostly the bad stuff. Which might be why I don't necessarily remember all the details of this, because it wasn't a bad... This isn't going into like a bad trauma story or anything. This is just a thing that happened. Church-based child thing. A bunch of kids with a bunch of, I guess, church adults. Competent, caregiving adults. Other than the fact that they were all Christians, I don't really have anything bad to say about anyone that was there. This isn't... I plenty of other times where I can sit and talk ill of religious idiots. But this isn't one of those moments. Not specifically, anyway. There was activities. I think they gave us lunch, just like sandwiches and crisps and a drink or something. Maybe a little like penguin bar. Maybe. You know, it was just something for the parents to drop off their kids for a bit, get some peace. I remember one of the activities. I don't remember a lot of them, but I remember one of them specifically was you cut out a fish shape from like a bit of newspaper, a very, very thin paper, and then you use a thicker bit of card to like flap behind the fish, and then the fish like sort of gets gusted up, blown across the floor, sort of like flaps, and then you have to... all the other kids did it as well, and you had to flap your fish across the floor with the power of air, and you had to get to the other end of the room before the other kids. It was a race. You make a little fish and you flap it across the floor. Whoever wins gets a fucking treat. I don't know, a dog treat or whatever it was they were giving us. Which is quite a little, like, you know, for a bunch of little kids, that's quite a fun little thing to do. And I believe the fact that it was a fish was important because the theme of it all was like pirate ship sort of stuff. That was like the theme of the I don't even know what to call it, the care, the support thing, whatever it was, the daycare sort of thing. It was all pirate based, and it was called Ship Shapes. And I think that's like I believe they had posters up around town saying Ship Shapes, child care, whatever, come and drop your kids off for a couple of hours of games and entertainment, however many days of the summer, whatever. Ship Shapes. And there was the guy in charge, who I don't know, was maybe like the local vicar or whatever. He was dressed as like a pirate captain, so he was like the captain of the ship. And then, so, you know, every day we'd go there and he'd do a little like, hello everybody, how are you doing, a little talk. I think he did some like Bible shit. We sang a song. There was a song. I can't remember any of the song, but I remember it was towards the end. It was like something. It was Christian based ish, but it was like, we know the Bible means much more to us than gold. Ship shapes, come and join us today. And there was like piano, someone playing the piano along with it, and it was, you know, quite fun. And then everyone sings along. Ship shapes, come and join us today. It's fun fucking thing for the thing to the thing and the thing and the thing. So early on, one of the things the captain does is he had this whole thing. He was like, right, everybody, when I yell Ship Shapes, you all yell aye captain. So he'd like occasionally he'd come into the room, like whatever rooms, there were certain different rooms doing different activities. He'd come into one of the rooms and just yell Ship Shapes, and then all the kids would go aye captain. And it was like quite a fun. It was a thing to like interact with the kids, get them all involved, quite cult-like in a way. Make the herd follow the activities, follow the behaviours. Join in the songs, the passphrase to get you into heaven. Ship Shapes, Aye, aye, Captain. It's ingrained in my brain. But I think I say this isn't a negative story. It's it's negative in a way. It's probably negative mostly in terms of how it makes me look. I think one of the reasons it's so ingrained in my brain is because I got what the guy was doing, the captain. I understood what he was doing. Is when he is around and he's doing his thing, he's looking over all the, I don't know, the pirates, the kids. We all made pirate hats as well. I think that was one of the activities. So you get paper, you fold it into a little pirate hat. It's quite cool. And then he does his thing and he yells ship shapes. Everyone goes, aye, aye, Captain. Now, so what happened was, from then on, whenever we'd sing the song, where it goes towards the end, it goes, ship shapes, come and join us today. When we first sang the song, he hadn't yet set up the I yell ship shapes, you yell aye, aye, Captain. So we sing the song, ship shapes, come and join us today. But then after he said the whole, when I yell ship shapes, you yell aye, aye, Captain, all the other kids, when they were singing the song, it would get to that line, ship shapes, and then all the kids would go, aye, aye, Captain, come and join us today. And it sounds like that should work. Like, ship shapes, aye, aye, Captain, come and join us today. But the timing didn't work. The timing was off. Because it was ship shapes, come and join us today. But then all the kids, because of the captain saying, do the thing, do the line, the kids would all yell, aye, aye, Captain. But them saying that would go into and over the next line, come and join us today. And it would just muddle everything. It was too much noise. It didn't fit. I know it sounds like it shouldn't, but it sounds like it should fit, but it doesn't. It's ship, shape, aye, aye, Captain, join us today. And just it fucked everything up. See, what I took for the captain to mean is when he's about the place, when he's going about the play group, I think that's the word I was searching for previously. When he's going about the play group, checking on everyone, making sure everything's running smoothly, making sure the ship shape, making sure everything's ship shape. When he yells ship shape at random intervals during the time that we're there, then everyone is to yell aye, aye, Captain. I don't think he meant, or I'm almost certain he didn't mean, every time the word ship shapes is used in the song or whatever, you must say aye, aye, Captain, because it fucks the song up. It muddles it up. It doesn't work with the timing. He didn't mean anytime anyone says the word ship shapes, anytime the word ship shapes is used in any context while you're here at all, you are to yell, aye, aye, Captain. No, because that fucks everything up. Just say it when he specifically says it, when he yells it, clearly intending, because he will yell it, obviously meaning that everyone at that particular moment is to then yell out aye, aye, Captain. He said it's context. There's nuance to it, goddammit. You don't just yell aye, aye, Captain anytime anyone uses the word ship shape. I'm sure that probably like Pavlov's dog fucking conditioned some kids to this day. If they hear the word ship shapes, they go aye, aye, Captain. Just out of nowhere. They don't know why they're doing it, but it's just something in their brain telling them to say that. I mean, that's actually technically or literally what happens with me. If I do hear the word ship shape or the term ship shape, my brain goes aye, aye, Captain, but in an angry way, because I know the kid's got it wrong. Even at that young age, I was aware of, like, he means you do it at a specific time, not just anytime anyone says ship shapes. And that pissed me off. Even then, even back then, even at 6, 7 years old, whatever it was. Because I felt like I was smart and everyone else is stupid. All these other kids, they're all fucking idiots. They don't understand. You don't just yell, "Aye, aye, Captain," willy-nilly, just at any vague mention of ship shape. The drop of a hat. Certain times, certain points when it's appropriate. Maybe that's why the kids were getting dropped off at that playgroup. Because the parents are just sick of having them in the house just being idiots, not understanding context or nuance, just fucking being dumb. But then I got dropped off there as well, so I must have been just as bad as the rest of them. I don't bring up that story for any particular reason. It's not necessarily relevant to the subject at hand or whatever. It's been on my mind. I thought I'd mention it. However, I guess I can sort of connect it by saying that's one thing that also probably hasn't changed even since then, let alone the last 6 years, that I still think I'm better than everyone else. I still think I'm smarter than everyone else. I still think I'm better at drawing than everyone else. Got a bigger dick. Fucking load more cum inside your mother. Even back then I was doing that as well, which is really inappropriate. I was not coming when I was 6, 7 years old. Lord knows I tried. But it wasn't happening. Because I'm still an arsehole. I feel like I'm just like Arthur Morgan and John Marston to a lesser extent, where like people will say, "Oh, Ewan, you're so you give so much of yourself, your art, you do all this shit for free, you make the podcast for free, even though it's not necessarily what most people would consider to be successful. You still do it because you give and you give because you're just a good person, Ewan. You're very kind, very thoughtful, big penis." But then I sit here and go, "I'm such an arsehole. Oh, I'm a terrible person. I'm a bad man." Not in any like serious way, but just like Arthur Morgan. See, it's it's fucking stupid is what it is. But that bugs me to this day, the whole ship shapes. Aye, aye, Captain. He didn't mean during the song. Don't do it during the song. Why would you do it during the song? It doesn't fit. There's not enough space for fucking, I don't even know, 20, 30 kids to all be yelling ship shapes. No, to be yelling "Aye, aye, Captain" after the word ship shapes. It doesn't... Fucking irrelevant. Redundant. Shut up. Oh, mercy, mercy, mercy me. 6 years though. God damn, can you believe that? It's impressive. If you think it's not impressive, you do something for 6 years. You do one thing consistently. And I know it hasn't been consistently weekly necessarily for the whole 6 years. I think at least for the last 5 since 2020. But, since I've not had a day job getting in the way. You try and do anything consistently for that long. It's not easy. There's been one or two moments where I've had to say sorry, guys, no episode this week because whatever. But it's why? It's because I win. Because Ewan wins. Ewan does suck when asked politely. But also Ewan wins. Here's to another 6 years! Huzzah! Aye aye, Captain!